Our story starts at a prestigious all-girls high school, where the vice principal engages in a conversation with some parents, boasting about how this school is like the top-notch place in town. The school meticulously categorizes students based on their academic ability, with the top 16 students, the cream of the crop, earning a desired place in the highest-ranking class, known as Class A class, as students enjoy a range of privileges not afforded to their peers. Now, here's the kicker. The school employs a rigorous point-based classification system, fostering friendly competition among the girls and motivating them to keep everyone studying hard to climb to the top. Consequently, all of the girls are driven by a profound commitment to their studies. However, here's the twist. As the vice principal passionately praises the school's virtues, we spot a big black X sign spray painted on the school's name. We meet our protagonist, a student named Pang, who is in the ladies' room. On her way out, another student named Meow accidentally bumps into Pang. The girl tries to apologize to her, but she doesn't accept it because Meow's not as high up in the school's pecking order. Meow's friends promptly escort her away from the scene. Pang's friends soon arrive, expressing their disapproval that a student from Class F, the lowest classification, would be permitted to use the same restroom as them. Later on, Pang goes into a classroom for a test, but halfway through, she sneaks out a piece of paper with all the answers to the test questions. Attempting to cheat, the exam proctor becomes suspicious of Pang's actions. As the proctor approaches her, one of Pang's friends pretends to feel dizzy and unwell, diverting the teacher's attention. Pang resumes answering the questions and discreetly discards the cheat sheet on the ground. After the test, Pang reassures her friends about her performance. Her ranking is 6th, and she's in Class A, the top-tier class. They all agree to celebrate this achievement, but Pang's joy is short-lived as she receives a summons on her cell phone. It turns out she's in trouble. At the vice principal's office, Pang is confronted with the allegation that a piece of paper with answers was found near her chair during the exam. Pang denies any wrongdoing, but the teacher claims that the handwriting on the paper matches Pang's. As a result, the vice principal penalizes her by deducting 8,000 points and informs her that her ranking has dropped to 142, and she is sent down to Class F tough break, right? This comes as a real shock to her because she's now part of a less fortunate class. When she returns home, she storms into her room, seething with anger. Her friend, Tam, sends her a message, promising to speak to her uncle in an attempt to get her back into Class A. It appears that Tam comes from a well-known family. The next day, as she walks through the school, she glances at her old class, and her friend waves from a distance. Pang heads to her new class, only to find chaos and girls goofing around. Their teacher, May, steps in and welcomes Pang as the new student. May has to raise her voice to quiet the girls down and introduce Pang. They tease her, referring to her as the girl caught cheating. Pang heads to a chair in the front row, but a girl named Mean puts her bag on it. Pang dismisses it, throwing the bag aside and taking her seat. The teacher instructs everyone to clock in on the app to track attendance and then to divide themselves into groups for a school activity. After the session, they head downstairs for lunch, only to discover a fence blocking their way from Class A, forcing them to take a longer route to the restaurant. Their frustration deepens when they find that Class S food is less appealing, mainly vegetables, while Class A enjoys better meals with proteins. Meow notices that Pang is missing, speculating that she's disappointed about not having friends to eat with. Meanwhile, Pang is sitting alone when a young man suddenly appears in front of her. She questions him about his presence in a girls' school, and he introduces himself as T, a trainee teacher. He warned her that sitting by this jinxed fountain is bad luck and is associated with failure. Pang dismisses his warning, heads to the restroom to wash her face, and vents her frustration by tossing away a pin with the class slogan. Mean enters and apologizes for her previous actions, asking Pang to apologize in return, suggesting they could become friends. However, Pang's arrogance shines through as she declines, stating that she doesn't need friends who are perceived as losers. Min expresses sympathy that ultimately leads her alone. Pang approaches Mrs. May, expressing her desire not to be grouped with any Class F members to avoid losing points. The teacher declines her request and provides instructions for her new dorm, emphasizing the importance of not being late by 10 p.m. She informs Pang that each room accommodates 4 girls, and she must adapt to her roommates. She enters the dorm to find it in disarray, with the girls engaged in play. She inquires if anyone is willing to join her group, as she intends that the group member will do nothing, with Pang taking on most of the work. A girl named Cook agrees to be in her group. Later that night, Pang lies in bed, unable to sleep due to the early hour. She recalls Min's words and decides to apologize to her. Unable to locate anyone in the hallway, she spots a girl walking in the garden from the balcony. Pang decides to follow her, and the girl enters a secret room. To her surprise, the girls inside are dressed in peculiar black costumes, and she overhears them discussing plans to cut the fences separating their area from Class A. Pang discovers that they are the Black Sheep team responsible for graffitiing the school's tame and writing derogatory words about the vice principal. As Pang attempts to shadow them, the group catches her and issues a warning. They threaten to label her as a member of their team if she rats on them, and claims that she violated curfew, which is 10 p.m., making it impossible for her to return to Class A. They then ask her to accompany them to cut the fences. After they manage to break through the fence door, she escapes and nearly gets caught by the guard. However, Mr. T intervenes just in time and pulls her away. Pang is shocked to discover that Mr. T is Min's brother. The following day, all the students easily navigate through the fences. Pang reunites with her friend Tam, expressing how much she misses her and her desire to return to their old class. Tam reveals that she has a plan in motion, but it will take some time. Meanwhile, the vice principal, having observed the events, reprimands the guard, warning him of potential consequences if this happens again. The Black Sheep team takes over the broadcast room and blares a celebratory song, causing a campus-wide celebration. The guard nearly catches them, but 2 girls distract him. All students witness the vice principal posting a video on the school app, vowing to take action against the Black Sheep team. He threatens to deduct points from anyone collaborating with them, and appoints Tam as the head of the school discipline committee, who sternly warns the Black Sheep team. Tam then brings Pang to the vice principal's office and proposes a deal. Pang can return to Class A if she helps Tam capture the Black Sheep team. They want her to act as a spy in Class F, as they have suspicions about the students there. Pang agrees and apologizes to the Class F students for her previous negative comments. She seeks to befriend them, and they all agree except for Min, who remains suspicious. Pang buys some food for her new friends in an attempt to gain their trust, and they become pleased with her. However, they later watch a trial-like event on the app, with Tam as the judge. A girl named Foam is accused of stealing a test from the teacher's room and cheating with it. Min defends Foam and requests an adjournment of judgment, which Tam grants, giving Min 3 days to prove Foam's innocence. Tam messages Pang, asking her to provide any information she may have about the trial, as it could help Pang get back to Class A. Min gathers with her friends, determined to prove Foam's innocence. When Pang offers her help, Min hesitates, still not fully trusting her. The team enters a surveillance room to review the security camera footage. They spot a girl in front of the area where the test was found, but her face remains hidden. Simultaneously, Pang talks to a cleaning staff member, inquiring if she has seen anyone near the teacher's room. The staff member mentions seeing Foam reading a book and another girl, but she can't recall the girl's name or appearance. During the night, Min and her friends don their disguises to obtain the contact information of the teacher whose test was compromised. They aim to ask him if he suspects a specific girl. However, they are almost caught by the guard, but Pang helps them escape and hide in the lady's room. Min asks Pang not to follow them further and requests her brother, T, to escort her away to ensure she doesn't interfere again. T accompanies Pang and questions her about her involvement in helping the teen with the trial. Pang explains that Foam used to be her friend in middle school, but when they entered high school, Pang distanced herself, pretending not to know her, as Foam is less ranked than Pang, but the former always treats her well, and she is not angry about her. That is why she wants to help her, as she is quite sure that Foam is innocent. Upon Pang's arrival at the dorms, Tam sends her a video depicting Foam holding the test paper. She requests that Pang utilize this video as evidence in Foam's favor during the trial. Pang becomes conflicted, torn between the decision of sacrificing her friend to regain her place in Class A or standing by her friend. On the day of the trial, Tam is prepared to deliver the verdict. However, an unexpected turn of events occurs when 3 members of the Black Sheep team arrive after a power outage. They claim to possess evidence that proves Foam's innocence. They hand out 2 copies of the test, one that has already been used for the test and the other that remains in the printing room, the one that is in Foam's possession. They argue that it isn't sufficient evidence, and it could be that Foam seized the 2 copies. At that moment, Pang appears with a student named Phi, who claims to see everything. Phi explains that she was sitting in the garden and witnessed Foam picking up the paper from the ground. Another student appeared and argued with her, accusing her of stealing the exam. Everyone watches the surveillance video in which Phi's face is visible, and she insists that she tells the truth. Here, Foam is acquitted, and she thanks Pang for her support. When Pang returns to the apartment, her friends celebrate with her. Min apologizes to Pang for doubting her and thanks her for helping in the case. Though Pang extends her hand to Min, the latter doesn't want to shake hands and distances herself. Then we see Tam talking to a girl, and we know that she is the one who stole the exam to secure her position, being in first place of all the ranks. She isn't as easy a girl as she seems, but rather cunning. The next day, Pang is at the restaurant and can't find a place to sit. Students from Class F call her to go sit with them, and she tells them that they need to start the school project. At night, Pang studies, and her mother calls her, asking if she'll come home for the weekend vacation, but Pang tells her that there's a school project she has to work on. Min goes to her and asks Pang if she wants to go with them to her house to work on the school project. Pang refuses at first, but then she remembers what the vice principal said, and she wants to be a spy and tell them their news, so she agrees. When they arrive, Pang asks Min about her family, and she tells her that her parents passed away, and she lives alone in the house with her brother. Min takes her to the club and tells her that they can do anything they want here. Pang discovers that every member of Class F has a talent. Some of them can draw, act, sing, and make sweets. Pang realizes that she is wrong when she describes them as losers, even if they didn't succeed in their studies. Each one of them has a talent. She watches them play happily and envies them for doing what they want, and that each one of them has their own dream, while she remembers that she wants to become a doctor and take care of her family's vision of her. She notices that she's alone and upset. They take her to the party, and Pang starts singing, feeling freedom for the first time in her life, and she's very happy. The next day, Pang tells them that they need to start the project, but Min and her friends tell her that they should go on a new adventure together. Pang agrees, and T goes with them. They arrive at the abandoned house, where rumors circulate about it being haunted by ghosts. But Pang doesn't believe that nonsense and says it's all empty talk. When they enter the house, Meow becomes frightened and urges them to leave. However, Min reassures her that everything is fine and proceeds to light the torches. They organize themselves into groups, all in an attempt to explore the house quickly. They eventually reach a room with a mirror, where T informs them that in a haunted house, if any girl or woman combs her hair in front of the mirror, ghosts will appear to her. Pang chuckles at T's words, and he playfully challenges her to prove it. T then lights incense, and Pang confidently steps up to the mirror. She combs her hair, but to her surprise, she doesn't see anything unusual. Suddenly, they hear Meow's scream, and when they rush to her, they discover that she's gone missing. T urgently informs them that they must find her before the incense burns out, or else she'll be trapped in the house. Frightened and panicked, they all ran away, leaving Pang alone in the room with the torch. At that moment, a ghostly figure appears before her, dressed in white and approaching slowly. Pang closes her eyes, convinced that it's just her imagination. However, when she opens her eyes, the ghost is still there, causing her to scream in terror. To her relief, the ghostly figure turns out to be Meow, who is attempting to play a prank on her. Her friends soon reveal themselves, and it becomes clear that they had conspired to frighten Pang as part of a plan. When they exit the house, they celebrate Pang's brave reaction by lighting party sparklers, and Mean presents her with the black sheep costume. Mean informs Pang that she is now officially a part of the team. Pang receives a phone call saying it's her mother, and she steps aside to answer it. However, it turns out to be Tam on the other end of the line. Tam questions Pang about her recent actions, and Pang informs her that she has joined the team. Tam cryptically responds, instructing Pang to await her next set of orders to capture them red-handed. While at school, Meow and Cook walk together, and they spot a student from Class F named Neat standing in line to buy some juice. But when it's Neat's turn, a student from Class A rudely cuts in front of her. Neat asks her to wait, but the Class A student throws juice at her, saying arrogantly, "Don't forget yourself. You're beneath me in class." Cook steps in to defend Neat, but Tam appears, advising Cook to take care of herself and not risk losing points. Tam then left, leaving Cook infuriated. Cook gets angry and walks away. Meow tries to calm her down, saying violence isn't the solution, but it only makes Cook more upset. Later, Neat gets a message from the black sheep, offering assistance in obtaining her rights. It's actually Tam and her friend, hinting at a plan. Tam calls Pang and asks about the team costume she got when she joined. Pang says it's in her wardrobe, but when she asks Tam about the reason for asking such a question, Tam hangs up the phone. At night, Pang struggles to sleep in her new dorm since she's used to sleeping alone, but Mean tells her she'll get used to it. The next day, a video is posted on the school app, showing Neat tied to a chair with someone in a black sheep costume throwing juice at her. Mean is furious because it's clear someone wants to make the team look bad. At the restaurant, Mean defends a student who was being bullied. When she returns to her friends, Pang notices Mean's class pin is missing. She heads to the bathroom, and on her way, she meets T, who asks her to think about what's happening and who's behind it. Pang admits she doesn't know. This conversation is interrupted by Tam, who can't help but feel a bit jealous, as it seems that she likes T. In the dorms, Pang is working on her project, but the other girls are watching TV, and none of them want to help her. Meow decides to search Cook's bag because she has doubts that Cook might have made the video. When Cook catches her in the act, she screams at Meow for doubting her. Mean enters the room, and all the black sheep members gather, agreeing to bring their costumes to identify the person behind the video. Pang explains that her costume is at home, and she'll bring it tomorrow, but T insists on picking her up to get it right away. When she returns home, Pang discovers that her costume is missing. She questions her mother about it, and her mother reveals that Tam visited and entered her room to return a book. Pang now realizes that Tam is the one who made the video. She confronts Tam, who returns the costume and admits that she has replicated it and is no longer in need of it. Soon after, another video is posted, showing a student tied up with someone in a black sheep costume behind her, threatening punishment like this for any girl who opposes the team. Pang meets with the rest of the team to confirm that she has the costume. Mean points out that the girl in the video doesn't seem to be one of them. and they need to identify her. Pang receives a message from Tam instructing her to carry out the orders that will help her return to Class A. T notices that Pang seems tense and asks her what she's up to, but she walks away without answering. Later, Min gathers the team into pairs, hoping to gather information to identify the girl in the video. At night, Pang sneaks into Min's room and takes her class pin as part of Tam's plan to frame Min as the girl in the video. Min spots Pang and calls out to her, but Pang fears that she may have already been caught. However, it turns out that they are throwing a birthday party for their friend and want Pang to join them. After blowing out the candles, a new video is posted, showing a girl tied to a fence. The video claims that if she remains there until 10 o'clock, points will be deducted from her. Min decides to go and help the girl, and the rest of the team follows. Pang participates for the first time, feeling nervous, but the team reassures her. They put on their masks and set out to rescue the girl, who expresses her gratitude before leaving. Pang recalls Tam's instructions to throw Min's class pin at the scene to frame her. Tam arrives with the discipline committee and the guard, and Pang spots them, warning the team to scatter. When Tam reaches the fence, she can't find the pin. She sends a message to Pang, inquiring about it. Pang responds, claiming that she was observed by the team and couldn't carry out the plan. The next day, Min meets with her friends to discuss the information they've gathered. They realize that all the video clips are from locations around Class A, suggesting that someone from that class is trying to tarnish the teen's reputation and make the students hate them. Pang goes to a location where one of the videos was recorded and discovers a Class A pin on the ground, belonging to a student from that class. However, she accidentally injures her head while investigating. T comes to her aid, healing her wound. Pang expresses her gratitude and leaves. She then encounters Tam, showing her the pin and urging her to stop whatever she's doing. She threatens to expose Tam to the school if she doesn't cease her actions. Tam responds by reminding Pang that she's a spy among them to expose the team, and that only Tam can facilitate her return to Class AT, who is nearby. Overhears the conversation. During gym class, Min observes her brother's unusual focus on Pang. When she inquires, he assures her that there's nothing amiss. His concern stems from Pang's recent injury, and he worries about potential complications. Later, during class, they all watch a video clip in which Tam claims to have apprehended a student from the Black Sheep team, along with discovering a costume. The arrested student will face trial. Min suggests that Tam's actions are an attempt to divert suspicion away from their group. Motivated by this, she decides to convene a secret meeting that night in a hidden closet. When night falls, T seeks out Pang to address what he's learned about her conversation with Tam, and that the vice principal requests for her to act as a spy. Pang defends herself, emphasizing her refusal to reveal information about Min and the team. T assures her of his belief in her loyalty and grants her another opportunity to demonstrate her dedication to the team. The team gathers under the cover of night, making their way to the school's computer room with the intent to breach its system. Meanwhile, Tam and the discipline committee maintain a vigilant watch over the school, ready to apprehend them should they be caught in the act. As the trial gets closer, the committee is determined to make things right. Min and her team show up on the app declaring that they believe someone is trying to harm their reputation, as the actions done recently aren't theirs, which make people doubt their actions. They say they work hard to bring peace among the students and fix the problems caused by the school. Tam meets the team and talks to them, and finds strong proof that she made the controversial videos. They ask her to stop what she is doing, or they will tell everyone. Tam agrees reluctantly, and Pang gives Tam the pin. At night, the team gathers at Min's house. They have fun, singing, and playing. T talks to Pang, giving her a bracelet lost. She feels really happy because the lost bracelet is very special to her, as it is a gift from her only sister. The next day, Pang is at home when her sister Yan comes back. Yan misses her a lot. We see a flashback of Pang having breakfast with her family, who is very proud of her for being smart and wanting her to be a doctor like her sister Yan. But in a conversation between the two sisters after Yan gave her little sister a bracelet she made, Yan says that she doesn't want to be a doctor though. Instead, she wants to study fashion design. When Yan's father had learned, he was very angry and sad. Yan got hurt and decided to leave the house, leaving a message to Pang saying that she will live with her aunt to study what she likes. Since then, Pang is very angry at her sister Yan, who made her feel she was left alone. In a surprising twist, Pang decided to do what her family wanted and go to medical school to make her dad proud. In the present, Yan hugs her sister who is wondering about her presence. Yan sits down with her sister and informs her that she is working and supporting herself to pursue her desired studies. She presents Pang with a scarf she has personally crafted for her. However, Pang becomes upset because Yan has left her alone for a while, and she has had to try hard to please their father. She tosses the gift to the ground and walks away. Later on, unexpectedly, Min encounters Yan and talks with her, realizing that she is a sibling of Pang. Min discreetly messages her brother to take Pang to a specific store for a surprise, and when they arrive, she discreetly departs, leaving the two sisters together. Yan starts to feel remorse for her actions and implores Pang for forgiveness, attempting to mend their relationship. However, Pang, still holding a grudge, throws the necklace aside and leaves. Min grabs her hand, expressing her selfishness, reminding herself that they are siblings and should stand by each other. Despite Min's efforts, Pang remains unresponsive and walks away. Yan asks Min to take care of Pang and emphasizes that her new friend's relationship is the most important thing to Pang. Returning home, she finds Tam waiting with her mother, presenting her with a final opportunity to change what she has done, and afterwards she returns to Class A. Tam tasks her with finding evidence to apprehend the black sheep. She reassures Pang that even if they confess Pang's involvement, her uncle will vouch for her innocence. Subsequently, Pang receives a message from Min, requesting a meeting in the park. Once she goes there, Min apologizes, acknowledging that T is her brother, but they have different fathers. That is why nobody knows that they are sister and brother except the team. Thus, she asks Pang to give her sister another opportunity. They go to a store where Yan works, and Pang sees the store owner treating her sister in a bad way, but Yan stands to pursue her dreams. Yan talks to her, and they reconcile, and Yan gives her another necklace and the scarf, promising to be there for her if needed. Pang carefully puts her sister's pictures back where they belong, holding on to the precious memories she shared with her sister and the team as well. She's sad and confused, trying to decide if she should follow her dream and go back to Class A or stay with her friends. In the end, she chooses the former and gives Tam a photo with the team logo, showing that she's committed to going back to Class A. At school, there's a trial with Tam as the judge, and the vice principal is there too. They say that the black sheep team caused problems, and there's a witness who can prove that some Class F students were part of that team. Surprisingly, the witness is Pang herself. She swears to tell the truth. Pang says that when she transferred to Class F, she found out that its students were in the black sheep team. She saw them doing bad things like cutting fences and drawing the team logo on the school walls. Because of what Pang says, Tam punishes the black sheep team with surveillance and extra classes, even during vacations, to help the school service. The black sheep team is shocked by her testimony, as she is considered a traitor. She leaves the courtroom, leaving them to face the consequences of their actions, as mentioned by the judge Tam. Pang returns to her dormitory and receives a warm welcome from her old friends. Tam gives her the class pin, officially making her a Class A student. Pang reminds Tam of her promise not to expel the Class F students, and Pang assures her that she won't break that promise. Despite going back to her old life, Pang still feels sad and misses the bond she had with Class F. Meanwhile, Min and the team are facing consequences like extra classes and restroom cleaning duty. Pang goes to see them, expressing her desire to be friends again and asking for forgiveness. She explains that she wants to fulfill her parents' dream of her becoming a doctor and make them proud. However, Min straightforwardly tells her to be quiet and says they don't want to see her again because she's seen as disloyal. As she leaves, crying, she runs into T, who expresses his disappointment that she didn't take the second chance. She leaves him, still in tears. Later, Pang talks to Tam to make her cancel the punishment for Min and her friends. But Tam says she'll help only if Pang tells her where the group meets secretly. Pang says no. Next, Min is sitting in the classroom while her friend gives her a painting of their old friend Rain, who has passed away. This makes Min sad, and she gathers her friends and tells them that Rain's death anniversary is coming up, and they should do something at school to remember her. They agree, even though it might get them kicked out of school. Pang goes to the library and sees a girl picking a cheat sheet from a book of a test. When she tries to apprehend her, Tam shows up and reminds her that she used to cheat. Pang leaves, crying, and goes to meet Teacher May. She tells Teacher May that she thinks Tam is giving cheat sheets to Class A students and that Tam sent her answers on her phone from an unknown number. Teacher May agrees to help her because she feels guilty about Rain's death. She explains that Rain wanted to study biology, but that was only allowed for Class A students. So Rain asked Teacher May for help to get the books. Once she got them, she was arrested while being in the lab and refused to rat in May. The vice principal expelled her for breaking the rules, which unfortunately ruined her life. Then she decided to die. Pang exits her office and heads to the secret room, where she comes across a picture of Rain. Memes and her friends show up, and Pang sincerely apologizes to them, seeking one last chance. However, Means declines and firmly ushers her out. Outside, T bumps into Pang and shares that after Rain's passing, Means went through a psychological shock, locking herself away for an entire week. When that week ended, she made the resolute decision to challenge the school and the vice principal in the tame of Rain's rights. She founded a group, Tame the Black Sheep, and all of us joined to prevent what befell Rain from happening to anyone else. Pang reveals a crucial secret. Class A students are obtaining leaked exam answers. She believes that exposing this will shine a light on the school's flawed system, and she hopes that Min will forgive her and let her rejoin the team. Pang, accompanied by T, meets with Mrs. May and informs her that she witnessed a Class A student in the library getting exam answers and that the source of these answers is Tam, who received them from her uncle, the vice principal. Pang insists that they need to catch Tam in the act to prove the accusations against her. Mrs. May explains that teachers prepare their tests 2 months before the exams and then submit them to the vice principal for approval. 2 days before the exams, the tests are sent to the printing press, providing Class A students with the only opportunity to have the exam leaked. T proposes that their plan should align with Min's intention to commemorate Rain's death anniversary of the school. All three agree to proceed with their plan. T takes on his role and joins Pang in watching the vice principal and entering his office. Although Pang attempts to access his computer, she encounters a password barrier. As the vice principal enters his office, they overhear him, prompting them to conceal themselves. During his phone conversation with Tam, they learn that he's sending exam answers from his computer. After he departs, Pang makes a surprising discovery. The password is written on a piece of paper. This revelation allows her to access the computer. She's shocked to find no messages between them, but her determination remains unshaken. Pang then proceeds to the team's secret location, where they are already putting their plan into action. They put Rain's picture all over the school walls. T and Pang covertly assist them without the team's knowledge. In the early morning, Tam enters the library before anyone else. T tails her, and once she departs, he searches the books for exam answers. As the students wake up, they encounter Rain's image scattered throughout the school and read her story on the app, which underscores her tragic demise due to the school's unjust system. The vice principal gets really mad and calls Tam, asking her to stop the Black Sheep group from continuing their plan. The school's disciplinary committee goes to arrest the Class F students and holds another trial, with the vice principal there. Tam says the Black Sheep are breaking the rules even though they're being washed. She thinks about kicking them out of school, but Min says she's the only one responsible for what happened to tell the school the truth about Rain. Min wanted to make sure everyone in the school sees what's happening. All of a sudden, Pang appears in a live video in the courtroom, dressed like a Black Sheep team member. She shows a paper printed from the vice principal's computer with answers to the upcoming test and tells everyone about his plan to share the test answers with Class A students before the test. Pang enters the courtroom, holding a book from the library with test answers. She tells them that Tam gets the test answers from her uncle and places the answers in the library, which only Class's students can access. She says that the vice principal takes bribes from Class A parents to leak the tests. The vice principal gets angry and denies everything, saying that Tam will be deducted points and get back to Class F. Pang becomes happy as she now can get back to her friends, and they all leave the court together. The vice principal receives a call from the administration to investigate him. Pang gets back to Class F and meets Tam and tells her that she's lucky because her uncle is responsible for what happened and advises her to study and succeed, or she'll join her in Class F. Tam gets angry with Tam, leaves her, and enters her class. T waits for Pang, thanking her for what she did. And Pang says she did this because she misses the time she spent with her friends was the best time in her life, and she learned a lot from them, as everyone should have a dream and try to achieve it. Min overhears the talking, and she is deeply affected by these words. She goes to Class F, and once she enters the class, Min welcomes her to her real home, and the other girls also hug her, telling her she'll stay with them no matter what. At school, there was an announcement that said the vice principal was going to be punished by being suspended for a whole semester. At Min's house, Pang records everyone talking about their future goals, but Pang feels sad because she doesn't know what she wants to be. Miao goes to acting auditions and does really well. She even gets noticed by a famous singer who invites her to one of his parties. Pang meets T and learns that he has given up on his dreams after Rain passed away because he loved her. That's why he has joined the team. But now he will chase his dreams again. The next day, there is a school meeting to decide whether the vice principal should keep his job or be fired. They end up letting him keep his job. Tam, who knows where the group's secret evidence is, gets into the vice principal's office and tells the vice principal about it. He also mentions that he knows T is Min's brother but won't expel them because he wants to see Min suffer. The students are shocked that the vice principal is back, and Class F loses points. They only have 100 points left, and if they reach 0, they get kicked out of school. T is investigated for helping Class F and is punished by being made to stay in the library instead of teaching. In class, Teacher May warns everyone to follow the rules because the vice principal is watching closely. A girl named Lucky accuses Min of reaching that level by being the leader of the Black Sheep team, claiming they all follow her and are now in trouble being expelled because of her. Min says that she has done all of this to change the unjust system and to carry out justice between students. She says good only wins in movies, so from now on, there is no Black Sheep team, and she leaves. Lucky says this because she is a spy of Tam and the team to separate them. Tam appears on the app and announces that she's following the vice principal's orders to deduct a lot of points from students who've made simple mistakes. She warns all the girls not to make any errors because it will result in losing many points. Min remains neutral, not wanting to be the cause of her classmates losing points. T confides in Pang, telling her that he can't tolerate the school anymore, and that today will be his last day before transferring to another school. He asks Pang to take care of his sister and keep her calm. Tam overhears their conversation and becomes upset because she has feelings for him and doesn't want him to leave the school. Pang decides to wear the black sheep costume and draws the team's logo on the school walls. The next day, Tam enters the classroom with the discipline committee, displaying the team logo and warning them to be ready to be expelled from the school. Pang insists that they didn't do it and suggests that someone else might be trying to frame them, just like what happened before. Tam responds that she will find evidence, and if they are found guilty, they will be expelled from the school soon, and she leaves. Min gets upset with Pang because she took action even though they had all agreed to disband the team. Pang explains that she had to confront Tam on her own without involving anyone else. Meanwhile, Lucky meets Tam and falsely claims that Pang was responsible for the recent incidents. Lucky asks Tam not to punish the class students along with her. The next day, the Black Sheep team's logo is drawn all over the school walls. Min gets angry with Pang, blaming her for potentially getting their classmates expelled. Pang insists she didn't do it alone, but Min doesn't believe her and leaves her alone. Tam appears in a live video on the app, claiming to have captured girls she suspects of being involved in the actions and threatening to keep them locked up until the responsible person comes forward. It turns out that Tam is behind these actions and asks a student to dispose of the spray cans they used for the drawings. However, the student refuses to assist her in her wrongdoing and leaves. Min is sitting on the roof, holding a picture of rain, feeling lost. In the evening, Pang decides to wear the costume and help the locked students. Min tries to stop her, believing it's a trap set by Tam to capture them. However, all the team members support Pang and take responsibility for their decision, not wanting Min to be blamed for anything bad that might happen to them. Lucky informs Tam about their plans, and Meow discovers that Lucky has been spying on the team for Tam. They are all furious at her for betraying them, and they have a heated argument. Pang tells Lucky that Tam is manipulating her, just as she did with Pang. Lucky apologizes, fearing expulsion from the school, and regrets seeking forgiveness. She asks them to forgive her, but they insist on proceeding without her. Lucky goes to Min and tells her what happened, seeking forgiveness. The team goes to the place where the students are locked up, and Tam and the discipline committee are there. Min joins the team in opening the door, but the students are afraid to come out, fearing they will lose more points. Tam says that the team broke the rules, and they will lose their remaining points, leading to expulsion from the school. She records them in a live video for all students to see. Min tries to take full responsibility, but the rest of the team refuses and confesses their participation. Lucky attempts to confess that Tam had asked them to do it, but Tam denies it, believing no one will believe her. The situation takes a turn when all the school students start a hashtag supporting the Black Sheep team, acknowledging their help despite losing points, and asking the administration for forgiveness. Tam becomes angry, claiming it won't change anything. She calls her uncle and informs him about the situation, just as the vice principal is about to go live and announce the expulsion of the Black Sheep team from the school. An unexpected person enters the room, leaving the vice principal completely surprised. It turns out to be the principal, and she appears on a live video through the app. She announces that she has returned from her vacation and will now personally oversee the school. The big news she shares is the cancellation of the ranking system and the reset of all points to 0. This announcement shocks all the students as they realize they are starting from scratch with no points at all. We are shown a flashback of the principal explaining that 4 years ago, she decided to step down from the school administration and handed over the reins to her vice principal. She chose to take an extended vacation before retiring. The vice principal had convinced her that the new system he implemented was in the best interest of the students. However, when she unexpectedly returned to the school, She witnessed Mrs. May in tears and realized the turmoil happening within the school. This prompted her to get involved. She holds a meeting with the administration and makes it clear that she will take responsibility for her decision until her retirement. But after that, they can make any changes they think are needed. Once this decision is put into action, Tam is surprised to see all the students eating together at the restaurant. This makes her really mad, so she gets the old Class A students together to meet with the principal and try to bring back the points and ranking system. Pang and Min find out about this plan and follow Tam to the principal's office to share their thoughts. Min suggests having a competition, and the class that wins gets to decide whether to bring back the points system or not. The principal likes this idea and starts a vote on the app for the students to choose. Most students like the idea of a competition, so they agree to it. The principal then announces the competition and asks Mrs. May to explain how it will work. The competition is not only scientific, but also sporting and artistic. The vice principal meets Tam and tells her that he agrees with the competition referees to favor Class A. He asks her to come up with a plan to win the competition. Tam goes to her classmates, hands them the plan, and asks them to prepare themselves to win in 1 month in order to reapply the ranking system again. Meanwhile, Min discusses with the classmates that everyone should compete in what they like. Pang is nervous and afraid, so she goes to sit alone in the garden. Min follows her and assures her that she believes she will be the reason for Class F to win because she is smart. They visit T in his new school to encourage them and offer advice. They meet T at his new school, and he plays basketball with Pang and promises to tell her about her talent if she gets the ball in the hoop. At first, she can't, but when she tries again, she scores. T tells her that her problem is being afraid to take the first step, but once she's encouraged and tries, she can succeed in anything. Pang is very happy to hear these words of encouragement. After 1 month, the principal announces the start of the competitions on the app. The competitions begin, and everyone showcases their talents. They play a basketball match where Class F is talented, but Class A has 1 extra point. At the end of the match, Class F is about to lose, but they are awarded a penalty, and Pang scores. However, the referees cancel the score, and the time runs out. Class A wins due to cheating as they bribed the referees. The principal appears on the app, stating that she has received complaints about referees taking bribes and will personally supervise the upcoming 3 games. Tam gets reprimanded by her uncle, who apparently forces her to cheat and win at any cost for his own advantage. On the 3rd and final day of the competition, a running event is underway. During the race, Tam forcefully pushes Min to the ground in an attempt to make her lose. This action angers the students from Class F, who demand that Tam play fairly without resorting to cheating. In response, Tam curses them and arrogantly claims that Class F students are inferior to her. She brags that she will secure victory with the assistance of her servants, referring to the students from Class A. Upon hearing Tam's hurtful words, her classmates become enraged and inform her that they will no longer follow her as their leader. Tam is shocked by their reaction and retreats to the rooftop, with Pang following her. On the rooftop, Tam contemplates jumping off, driven by her belief that she has been raised to prioritize winning and cannot bear the thought of losing. Unfortunately, Tam stumbles while getting back and falls, but Pang holds her hands at the last moment, and she tells Tam she will not let her go, and regardless of the action she has done. Pang still loves her because she is still her friend. Another friend arrives to assist Tam. She is rescued and later goes to her classmates to offer an apology. She also declares that she will never cheat again and implores them to rebuild the trust they once had in each other. Later, Tam receives a message from her uncle containing the answers for the upcoming test. She becomes conflicted about whether to delete the message or open it. On the day of the exam, the results are revealed, and to everyone's surprise, Tam is in first place with a score of 99%. She achieved this score without using the answers her uncle sent her, and she decides to delete them. She firmly announces that she will no longer cheat or follow her uncle's orders, choosing to break away from his influence. As for the day of the final competition results, the principal announces that Class F is the winning class and will have the opportunity to choose the school system. The students are overjoyed as they have achieved their goals. However, the vice principal comments that they are still young and may not fully understand the implications of choosing the school system. The principal, on the other hand, believes in the aspirations and dreams of the new generation and encourages them to determine their own future. The principal asks the class to select a spokesperson, and they choose Mean. Mean takes the stage and expresses that there is no one-size-fits-all system that will suit every student. Instead, she advocates for a flexible system that addresses students' individual needs and passions, allowing them to study what they love rather than being forced into subjects. She also suggests that the new system should be implemented for future generations, sparing them from the difficulties they faced. Her speech receives a round of applause from everyone in attendance. In the end, 1 month after, the new system is applied, and every student can choose what they want to study. After the graduation party, the Black Sheep team go to their secret place, where they bid a heartfelt farewell to this special place, marking it as their final visit. As we wrap up this awesome journey through the Underclass series, we've seen some epic friendships, incredible resilience, and the pure magic of storytelling. The Underclass is a binge-worthy Netflix show directed by Paspatana Kumjan and produced by Nutavut Kongake. Now, it's your turn to tell us, what did you think of this series? Any favorite characters? Memorable scenes? Share all the details in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and share this recap with your fellow binge watchers. Your support means the world to us. And just a reminder, Underclass is all yours on Netflix, thanks to the brilliant minds behind the scenes.